Now it hasn't been that while since I talked about a cartoon. Since that was since what Gentry Chow, which was amazing by the way, but nothing I really care about on Adult Swim that I felt like was worth talking about. Well, there was the Smiling Friends, and that was very entertaining. I enjoyed that a lot. But that's it. You know, nothing that really took itself seriously and stuff like that. It was always a comedy thing. And that's one of the reasons why people don't take anime animation in America that seriously when it comes to adult animation. It always has to go back to it being a comedy, you know. Nothing to ever take seriously. Until one day I heard an ad on Spotify while I was inside of my job. And I was listening to an ad on Spotify. It was talking about a show called Common Side Effects. And when I heard the pitch for the show, it felt boring. It felt unenthusiastic. It's like they were trying so hard to make it sound like a comedy, like a thriller comedy and stuff like that. And like, I'm not interested in this until one day I saw it online and I was skimming through it. I'm like, yo, this is nothing like the way they try to pitch it. The way they try to pitch this show called Common Side Effects, it was like they're trying to pitch it as some sort of, like I said, a comedy. But the comedy felt dry. At first, I thought it was something that Bob's Burgers would create, and Bob's Burgers is interesting at first. As time goes on, the comedy gets very repetitive and boring and stuff like that. Like, oh my god, is this it? Is all there is to it? It's like that's why after the Bob's Burger movie, I just stopped watching it because it was just it got boring to me. It really did. But then I watched it like, yo, this is not a comedy at all. It's kind of a thriller and stuff. Like, I wasn't really laughing, but I was more in suspense than anything else. So the show is about a guy named Marshall who had discovered a shroom, that in Peru, by the way, that can cure almost anything. You get shot in the chest, shot in the head, eat the mushroom, live. Have a terrible disease, eat the mushroom, cured. Even if you have a condition or certain disability, eat the mushroom, you're good. And it sends you on a strange trip as if you're re-seeing the cycle of the universe over and over again before it kicks into its effect. So, this show really focuses on the dangers of pharmaceutical companies, big pharma, and other government and stuff like that that goes hand to hand. And I liked how pretty much it says, what if you do have the cure for everything? What would you do with it? Will humanity be ready for it? Will it truly be beneficial? Because at first the show shows us how corrupted pharmaceutical companies are. Where in reality, we could cure a lot of treatments, a lot of illnesses, a lot of diseases, and help out people with a lot of conditions. However, that's not profitable. When you cure someone, they're good. They don't need you no more. They go off about their way. But if you give them a small dosage of something, small treatments of anything, they'll have to keep coming back to you. And that seems okay at first. Everyone makes money, a symbiotic cycle. But that symbiotic cycle in reality becomes a parasitical cycle instead. As time goes on, they give you more red tape, and then they keep upping the prices, even though your cost of living and your wages are the same, they'll continue to go up and up and up as time goes on to a point where you can't afford it. You have to make some very harsh decisions on how you do survive and stuff. To paying bills, to getting food, to putting gas in your car, and then have buy this thing that you need to survive on. And then here comes insurance. You will get a job, you have insurance. But then insurance sometimes make things more expensive. Say you got the insurance in, and if without insurance, this thing will cost you like $600. But then all of a sudden, you get insurance, like, oh, you got insurance now, so we're gonna boost it up to freaking $1,300. That's more than half. Why the heck are you boosting it up that far? And you still have to pay some of it off. So you're like, yo, man, this is stupid. And then you have to keep paying for the insurance over and over again. And most days, you don't see yourself needing to go to the hospital. You're fine, healthy on your own most of the times. But you have to keep paying for the insurance for that one time you need to go to a hospital out of the 5 years you pay for it. And it's ridiculous. Then you have other insurance you need to pay for, man. You got life insurance, your health insurance, your car insurance, your housing insurance, all those insurance, not to mention there's taxes on it, so you're garnishing out your wages. And then the last guy said again, your wages aren't going up, but everything else is going up. So all these bills, not to mention mortgage or rent, and even paying off cars and property taxes, it goes up and up. So it's just killing you. It's keeping people poor that have to make decisions like, will I live out of my car or I don't have a car at all? I just have to decide between the both. Back in the day, you didn't really have that problem, but now it's really sticking out, man, and it's nuts. So it's showing how these pharmaceutical companies are terrible, and sometimes the things you do take have side effects that could ruin you in the long run, especially if you have to keep taking it. And if you keep taking it, it could cause a bad, terrible side effect like messing up your kidneys or liver or shortening your lifespan. It goes on and on, showing the corruption of pharmaceutical companies. But at the same time, it shows that pharmaceutical companies do help people, whether we like it or not. They do stop people, because without these supplements, a lot of people will be on a deep end. A lot of people won't be able to work, like ibuprofen. Taking too much of it is bad for your kidneys. But sometimes it does help. It does help when you need to get back in the game, where you have no choice. You need to start working, or else you have to go home and you don't get paid for that day. Unless you have a PPTO, that's it. So it's just nuts. And it's showing also the beauty and horrors of fungi. I knew some of fungus, but the more I learned about fungus, the more like we're living in the world of fungus, man. Spores are everywhere, man. You can't escape spores. They're everywhere. That's how you wonder how some things just get molded in it no matter what you do. You have a sealed case of food. And if you don't touch it for a while, it gets mold even though you never open it. Or you have something that's sealed shut and it'll come back and you open it up and have mold in it like spores everywhere. Mold spores are everywhere, man. You can't get rid of them everywhere. And they're hard. Fungus is really hard to kill because it's an adaptive kind of trait. It is literally the stem cells of the earth. No matter what kind of disaster or harsh environment it is in, it will adapt to the harsh environment and create something new, something beautiful. Heck, most of our stuff that we eat that helps us is made of mushrooms. All kinds of mushrooms and stuff like that. Now you're wondering, these mushrooms must be rare. They must be very, very expensive to make. The truth is, they're not. They're not expensive to make. It's just that they use it to make a profit, to turn over that profit, to make even a bigger profit, and cut it down in tiny little pieces for us to have. So as you go over these countries and get these treatments, these cures, you find out that they sell them over there for a very, very cheap price. But over here, they sell them super expensive. It is ridiculous. And watching more of this kind of ticked me off. But again, I like seeing both sides. Sides from the DEA, the FBI, and even the main antagonist. How the main antagonist is a very intimidating man who's explaining how releasing a cure that can cure anything is dangerous because not only will shut down tons of businesses that keep our society stable, but also will destroy the mentality of humanity. No one is struggling, everyone is happy, which we think that's a good idea, but with happiness with no struggle is no life at all. People are content and bored and start doing other things, and then other people will try to intimidate that drug and take it away and stuff like that. Craziness can happen. You really think about the bigger picture in the long run. So Marshall makes this drug, well, the shroom, and he doesn't know what to do with it. He just knows he's glad he made it. I guess as a researcher, that's all he really cared about was the sake of science, to create the thing. His love for mushrooms and mold is what got him into this business. But now, because of this, people are after him. People are framing him as this terrible person. Him being thrown in jail for things he didn't even commit. And him just learning that things aren't as black and white as you think they are. Yes, these pharmaceutical companies are terrible, but at the same time, they do help out humanity. They do they're like a necessary evil in a way of things happening. But it just sucks how you can't sometimes just get the cure when you are in your dying breed. But if you order to actually get the cure, you need loathsome sum of money, which costs of making it sometimes it's not even that expensive. It's not. After watching that one South Park episode where they're showing how some of the medicine that they make is not even that expensive to make, they just make it expensive here, but you can buy it overseas and stuff. But they don't want you to do that either. They just want to keep making a profit off you, which is messed up. Really messed up. I'll never forget that song. I am lost inside the American healthcare system. It's ridiculous, man. But anyways, he also sees a high school crush he once had, old chemistry partner back in the day, who works for a pharmaceutical company where she wants to really boost her way up in life, but it's having a hard time to until she discovered her friend created this drug. And now she's secretly trying to help him grow it so she'd help herself out and also her mother. And by the way, when you do take this shroom, not only do you see this interesting way of the universe, we also are in this dimension for a short brief of time. We start seeing these little white creatures just bumbling around. At first, you don't know what's going on. They're just there staring at you, and you think they're just there to help you. But as time goes on, you start to realize that these things have a motive. They have an agenda, and they're using certain people for things to happen indirectly. And I'm like, yo, this is getting good. Not to mention my actual favorite characters in the show are the two DEA cops. I love them. Their personalities bump off on each other. They like getting good food, having interesting conversations, and listening to all kinds of random music at times. They really love doing that stuff. And as they're on their way chasing down Marshall, they realize there's more than this that's meeting the eye. Like, is this guy really that dangerous? Is he doing it's really illegal? And when they get closer to it, things happen. Of course, a division. Some people do evil things because they need to survive, while others, despite everything, will throw it all away for the sake of justice and the truth. And things happen. Divisions happen. So everything that's happening right now is just amazing. I love this show. Is amazing. It's awesome. I recommend it to a dude who really can't stand modern cartoons. Like, he can't stand them. Every day his dude's on X complaining about modern cartoons. But then I showed him this. He says, yo, he loves it. He loves this show. It's amazing. So that's what I'm saying. You have to watch this show, man. It's good. It makes you think. See the world in a different point perspective. Amazing. So anyways, that's like guys for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has the Madcrownxox on Saturday. Signing out.